Hello there and welcome. It is time for the third battle report from our April tournament. This time it'll be Shelly, who we saw in the first game from this tournament with her Maul Asajj Mandalorian list, against me. And I will be playing the Dooku Talzin list that has been becoming a bit of a boogeyman lately. Hearing a lot about it on the internet. I mean, I heard about it quite a while ago through Zion's Finest Slack. They were talking about it, but finally, the last couple tournaments I've been playing Talzin and Maul, and this tournament with the side objective of getting the least number of wounds throughout the day, I figured it was time to try out Dooku Talzin, and the Dooku box is of course a very good box, good squad, no one to really swap out there out of Django and the Magna Guards, but there's more variation when it comes to the Mother Talzin side of things. Now, some people play just the squad as is, so Mother Talzin, Savage, Night Sisters. People also go the other way, which is to basically have Talzin but just with droids, so either Kalani B1s or Kraken B2s. But again, with the side objective, I figured it'd be good to swap out the Night Sisters because they're pretty squishy, 7 health, not super great expertise, so they die fairly easily. So as well as Dooku's reactive ability or innate ability to give a support, either a dash or 5 days attack, well, that has to be a Separatist Alliance supporting unit. So that's one reason to swap in the B2s here, give him another potential target for that, as well as the fact that they are have more health and protection. So 8 health plus protection, which is not reliant on them being contesting a point. So adding some more health and protection, making it harder to get wound on those supports. And then the next one is Savage, so people would consider swapping them out with Kraken. They both have the same health. They both have protection and steadfast, although Kraken's is reliant on him being contesting an objective. But I actually like Savage from playing Mother Talzin with Maul, and part of that is his defensive expertise, actually. Although it's not great when it comes to blocking, I like that jump on 2. Makes it so that even if they do finally push him off a point, getting through the steadfast, then if he's gotten 2 expertise on his roll, then he gets to jump, and that can kind of undo all of that work. You're generally not one-shotting through 10 health and protection. So yeah, he's gonna probably survive at least 1 shot, and then maybe be able to jump back on that point. Makes it very difficult for them to get it, and it leans into the defensive control of the list. Also, Mother Talzin would lose a Dathomirian, another allied Dathomirian target for her tactic ability, and Savage works being also Separatist Alliance with Dooku, so both of them can use their tactic on him. Both of them, if they're within 3 after their tactic ability, then he gets a free dash as well. So if I had Kraken in here, we'd be putting a lot more through the supports, because he would be adding movement to the supports, attacks through the supports, and I feel like when people see Dooku at this point, they already kind of know that first thing you want to do, win the supports. So with that in mind, Savage basically beefs up the primary activations, because I mean, she'll have to give him a dash, but then he gets another dash. He can give whoever he wants other than Talzin a dash. They're whoever's within 3, but then and get himself a dash, and then after that dash, if he's within 3 of Savage gets a dash. So we're kind of top loading the power in this list into the primaries, beefing up their activations rather than pushing things down through the supports. So also encouraging people to be going after the secondaries and primaries rather than just the supports, in order to get Dooku his innate going off a little more. So we'll see how that works in this game. And let's get started. Obviously on Sabotage Showdown. This is our the third game and final game of the day. So we've both won both of our previous games leading up to this match. Now, of course, it's always the donut on Sabotage Showdown, and it's the Force Refresh or the Shatterpoint. Now, actually, in the first game, lost the first struggle. The other team had a lot more mobility, and there were some difficult terrain for this list, so couldn't really get into position in time to really claw back on that first struggle. But once they did get set in, it was very difficult for the other team to push back over. So I was able to win struggles 2 and 3, and actually not get wounded at all in that game. I had a lot of people close. Like I had someone 1 health left, someone with 2 health, someone with 3 health, but no actual wounds on that game. So Bo-Katan was the first for Shelly, giving one of the Super Commandos a move or a jump to be at the proper elevation for her her bottom right objective, or the one to her left. So clarifying whether or not we can push through that door. I think we decided that we could. So yeah, Bo-Katan doing a jump up to that other back objective for her. Change your mind. That one. Trying to determine whether to save the Force and just do a climb, because she's not gonna try and use the extra movement to get to the midline point.
So Dooku's spot basically. Just want to double check when that is actually. Should be back here. Because that does seem far. It was, yeah.
Check that the objectives are in the right spot because they seemed a little far away for to be trying to contest from deployment.
Yeah, someone has to be there.
Right, so now we're thinking about going for the midline point. Going with the climb.
Take cover and hunker. And that's about it. I'll take that one, and they get no points.
So getting two in her control. Scoring none because it's the first turn. And got all those on my back, 2 points as well.
Yep. I have to remember I got Maul.
Oh, I think I flipped
Well, you got Mother and stuff like
Talzin right off the bat here. She's not the worst first draw. Allows me to give Savage 2 dashes, like I was saying before. So as long as I do the tactic dash, keeping him within 3, can get him another dash. It looks like I'm choosing to reserve her instead. Thinking about it, I don't know. She's not. I could kind of go either way. She's not a great first draw. She doesn't have a lot of mobility to be going for that. Like she can't get to the midline point, which I kind of like to be getting to first if possible. But she would also give Savage that some extra movement to get started and into the mix. And of course, Magna Guards are kind of even less good of a first draw, because now they're going to run away and not be within Dooku's range for his tactic ability whenever he goes. But they could move up, do a take cover, I think, to get in range of the midline point at least.
I should do the take cover first. Take cover action first. If that's alright. Yeah. It'll be the same. It'll work out to be the same for him, but take cover to happen first for this guy.
I think that piece of terrain, or I guess it's just creates in the speeder from the take cover squad pack, or train pack, I think, or maybe it's. I'm not sure if that was a Legion thing. I'm not as familiar with the Legion type terrain or having a base to that chunk of terrain. Um, if if people generally like stand on it or get pushed onto it and stuff like that. But I think when it comes up, like it is fine to be pushed onto that base, but then just the stuff on the base you can't be pushed through and stuff like that. But Magnus will secure a third objective for me, so 3 points there. Looks like we're getting Asajj for Shelly's side. So coming up, but just outside of melee range, so I'm gonna have to use a second force for Dathomir and Dexterity to get another jump. So Magna Guards lose their hunker, but take cover was more about the distance anyway. And I think she's attacking in Jarkai here. I think that was only one block from the Magna Guards. Luckily, still only 2 going through. Going the condition route, 2 damage, strain, and disarm. Anticipating that we trying to get them to do stuff out of activation and set off the strain. So she'll get 2 points on that. And so she'll get a momentum for not crossing 0.
Let's have Mother Talzin go.
So yeah, regretting my decision slightly to reserve Talzin. Worried that Savage is going to be picked next, and then I'll ruin the setup of his innate ability there. So giving him a dash with the tactic. The other dash from Unwitting Brute. Making sure that he's within 3 to get that. So it won't be close enough to contest that midline objective, but getting closer. Like I said, if someone ends up attacking him, you could maybe jump and get there. Talzin's gonna climb and take advantage of the ladder in order to get up to my back right point, or the bottom left from our angle. Give her a hunker. More defense. Especially when she's up on cover like that. Be a lot of dice. She'd be on the Great Mother side, so she'd be rolling 9 dice if anyone decides to do a ranged attack. I think she's getting her Shatterpoint. Getting a refresh there. Should be looking at Asajj to Shatterpoint and get maybe be able to push the Magna Guard away.
You know what? I'm thinking about. Instead, I think that I'm going to go with. I'm going to go with my. We'll go with my commandos instead. I am going to.
Going with the Super Commandos.
Here to the bottom of the ladder to mix them up.
So moving into that
Yeah.
midline point that Savage is
Here.
it's
So
kind of
action.
threatening.
And I'll shoot at Savage down there. Right, got Savage down there. Yeah. And they're both in focus. Don't get impact, but I still get 6 dice.
So they like melee better, but still focused. So 6 dice on the ranged attack.
Okay.
2 blocks.
2 blocks, so 2 go through. Let's do.
And I have protection and steadfast.
Okay, so let's do 3 damage and a strain. So I guess 2 damage and a strain.
Okay.
And I'll do that again.
Okay.
Get 2 damage and a strain through because of protection.
Two blocks.
Okay, so 1 will go through, which is 2 more damage.
Okay, so 1.
2 damage down to 1. So between the 2, 3 damage and strain onto Savage. And she'll get that point. Oh yeah, Mother Talzin's turn. Got 3. She gets 3 back, so we're back where we were. She gets another momentum. Count Dooku coming next. Can only give Django a dash up his tactic ability, as well as himself, of course. So reserving Dooku as well. Thing is with this list too, there's not a lot of active abilities to be using Force on. It's a lot of reactive stuff. So only spending on reserving so far, but now that E2s have been pulled, they are going to spend 1 for their dash, relentless advance, or hold up, we're going to do maybe the move first. Because we might need to do our attacks first, and then do the dash. Whether it's pushing Mandalorians away, they don't have great access to push. Well, I mean, they got to push on 1, so never mind. Do have range 5. So yeah, I'm gonna see if I can push the back one. Probably 1 damage from the expertise there.
And then on the second attack, I'll use use saturation fire to add 2 dice.
Because they're on an objective, I can use saturation fire, add 2 dice to this attack roll, but of course it's reactive, so I can only use it once this turn.
Okay, so that'll be 2 damage, no, 3 damage, and a shove.
So I do get a shove through there. So I'm just trying to get her pushed off of that objective. So it might be easier to take back. Getting a follow-up on that.
Okay. And then let's see. I think I'll follow up on that actually.
See if I can steal that back point. Since no one's contesting at the proper elevation. Then do the relentless advance. Get a dash. Be almost right under that objective.
Does that mean that we both lose it now?
Oh, is he he's in range of that?
I don't know. Is he? No, I don't think so.
No?
When you look down on it?
Yeah. I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
So
No.
I think that'll flip, I think.
Yeah, Gar Saxon's not in range of that objective, so get the flip on that. Put my other B2 right under that other objective, so that I can get that if things if they get wounded. So that'll be 4 points on that one. I think. Yes. Starting to pull that one a bit. Okay, so Super Commandos up here. They have 4 damage on them, and which is going to be important if this is the turn that I'm remembering correctly.
How much off Asajj or the Savage have left?
He has 7 and protection.
7 and protection.
So you have
So
8.
8.
So you're 10.
Yeah. But those droids have like 10 health too, don't they?
They have 8 and protection.
8 and protection. Yeah,
You
so.
would need to do 9 damage on that to get a root
Yeah.
as well.
So then.
I don't really need to move much. Just getting 1 on that back objective of hers at the right elevation. So just looking around at who they can attack and potentially wound.
Yeah, I pulled Manny. So this guy's just going to move up a little bit. We're actually just going to back up to here. This guy's just going to move up to like here.
Move into contest, but trying to be in range 4 to put both shots into Savage.
Focus, not melee, but for 6 dice.
So ranged attack first. So there's that 2 expertise for potential jump. So taking the top track, 3 damage, disarm and expose. It'll be 2 damage because of protection. So that takes him to 5. So I get a jump. It would set off the strain and put me at 8 health out of 10. He's also exposed, so that would make it quite easy to wound him. However, he is a secondary, so I would also, if I jump onto the objective, I'd also be getting into melee, giving her more dice, so really making the wound easy. Which the point of the side objective is not to get wounded as much, but being a secondary, that would set off Dooku's innate ability, as well as Mother Talzin, and the B2s and Talzin are both in range to attack them. They've got 4 health left, so that's where I'm considering baiting this wound in order to wound them back, and then instead of her flipping the back objective closest to her, then I actually flip the objective that Savage just jumped on, because the B2s on the ground would be the only ones in contesting range that are not wounded. So, baiting the attack, and we'll see how that pans out. So yeah, giving her more dice on this attack, better expertise as well on the melee side. Two blocks as per usual. So, getting a full tree on this one. Of course, only needed, 2 plus protection, so needed to get 2 steps on the tree there.
So I will do 5 damage, a disarm, and expose again.
Let's throw those conditions back on again.
Steadfast, so it'll be 1 shove.
1 shove, okay, so I at least get to shove you off.
I'm gonna get the shove me back off.
Yeah. I am going to follow up.
Moving in a little closer. Not aware of what is coming.
Okay. Because you have wounded a secondary. Oh, yes, do something. I have to do 2 things. And the first thing I will do. Yeah, I will do a from Dooku. Oh yeah, Dooku will recover.
Yeah, setting Dooku's off first. Gains 2 force.
We'll get a B2.
And giving B2 a 5 dice attack.
And I get to roll defense, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so 5 dice attack, ranged attack.
Ranged attack, okay, 4. Block 2, because I got
Block
2.
2. Okay, so that would be 2 damage and a shove.
So must have been 1 expertise and 1 crit, or one success getting through for 2 damage and a shove. So now they're at 6 out of 8.
Will get a dash and a ranged attack.
Talzin gets to do hers, dash and ranged attack. Moving out, I think, moving a little closer just to the edge. And 5 days attack with that great mother side. So all I need is 1 success to get the wound, which I should mark the momentum for. The Savage wound.
How many blocks? 3. So 3 to 3, which will get me 5 damage, expose and pin.
Taking kind of the top track, 5 damage, expose and pin, and shove. So that will get the wound on them. Momentum for the wound. And now
So I keep that and will, because of my B2 down here.
Oh yeah, you'll get that. Oh.
so I actually flip 1 in my favor there. And that is kind of the extreme example of what makes Dooku and Talzin so strong.
That was my turn.
Because now, instead of getting 3, she is getting 1.
So you don't wound you. So don't really wound you.
That's the point.
That's the point. Because you got 2 people that'll do
So a wound for, or momentum for not crossing 0.
Doesn't do anything when you move the supports, but Talzin does.
Yeah, she's yeah.
She doesn't care. Shelly doesn't react when you wound her.
Oh yes.
So what do I do next? Let's
Get yourself ready for round 2.
So I got Savage. I've got Savage, Shatterpoint, and Django.
So figuring what to do next, knowing that I'll be getting this struggle. So I decide to go with Dooku. I'll give himself and Django dash, and my aim is to sit Dooku on that center point, because it is likely to be active on the next struggle. So able to move him to that ingress point, pop him up. Now I think, if I remember correctly, thinking back on this, I think I make a mistake here in my favor. Yeah. So Magna Guard protection protocols, they get an advance towards a primary separatist primary unit when they do a move action. However, he was engaged with Asajj, so he should have only gotten a dash off of that. So, sorry, Shelly. That should have been a dash. They shouldn't have both gotten up there.
I guess that sets off their strain, I guess. So 3.
Setting off the strain. Taking 3 damage.
Out of activation things, so. But I'll take it anyway.
And that's on the Magna Guards, I guess, eh?
Yeah, set off the strain on the Magna Guards. And then I will do.
That was thanks to me not giving you 6 damage. Instead, I gave you all the strain, expose,
throw a ranged attack with Dooku at Bo-Katan. Our Force Mastery side. She's got protection and steadfast for being on the objective.
What do you mean?
+1 for the terrain, because the terrain is technically at the same elevation as us, so you get 1 for that.
Oh, I get another.
So getting hunker and cover for 6 dice.
And I got steadfast and protection. So those two of those give me 2 blocks.
So you got a bunch of blocks?
Yeah, 5.
Okay, so 3 steps. So I'm going to do the conditional triangle.
3 steps on that tree. She'll get 4 damage, disarm and strain. About 3 damage, or
Let's do, I'll do 4 damage and pin.
So only 3 damage, so 3 damage.
oh, taking the top. So
That'll recover 2.
4 damage and pin, but 3 because of protection. Doing the double heal to heal some damage off of those Magna Guards who have taken the strain to get up beside Dooku.
And so that will be 5. And need a struggle.
1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, you get 4 down. Yeah.
5.
Oh, 1, 2, 3. Oh, yes. Yeah.
Yes, that'll be the struggle. So I'll let you grab the next.
Okay, that's right here. Pick one.
And it's the middle.
Oh, it is the middle. Okay, so it can be this one.
Alright, so it's the lines, diagonals of the lines. So either, well, yeah, that middle one is active as kind of expected.
It's kind of like this way, isn't it?
Either way,
It's either this
the
center back, so
side or top and bottom middle objectives will not. I have my 2 back points and one of her back points currently, so I think probably going with the one that Bo-Katan is sitting on.
all gonna be fighting at the top, I guess, eh?
Yeah, so you're
3 different ones.
at least holding that one.
Yeah. And you're
I'm
already
holding these 3.
Could be easy for her to get that one, but the
Not
B2s
easy to take, but you already have that.
have.
Yeah.
And she's gone already, right?
Yeah. So I shall do it straight down there, yeah. Pull that guy down, so I can maybe move them. Okay, so I'm thinking Maul's gonna go. And he will. At least if I go to there, if I climb to there,
He's going to be activating,
and then I do a damage.
trying to figure out how far he can move between his move and force speed.
Right? So.
Like, are you also wanting to move up here, though?
No, I don't think I can. Right? I don't think I will be able to get up there.
Because you might, well, oh yeah, okay.
I can't.
Yeah, because you can't do the advance when you're engaged with them, yeah. Never mind, yes.
So as my first.
Right, I was thinking 2 advances would be enough to get to the middle, but
Do a move.
he either has to climb to be at a different elevation or at the higher elevation to get the advance, or if he stays on the ground, then he'll be engaged with the B2s, which would mean he only gets a dash instead of an advance.
Well, you can use your move action to do a climb, but the force speed has to be an advance. It can't change.
Yeah, so I see. So I would have to do this.
So it's just the other order.
Yeah, so I would do this.
Yeah.
Just to move up to here.
Yeah.
And then you take damage.
Then the damage. Yeah.
To do the move.
So doing the move action first for the climb. then
If I go down, if I go
doing
to
the
there,
advance.
go to about there. Now I can do 2 more damage. I'll just put a 3 on me. 2, no place to run. To pull you, I'd rather pull this guy down to me.
Okay. So you have to pull him around Dooku. But yeah, you can go that way.
Or could I pull him?
You can't go through Dooku. If he hits, he's
Oh,
gonna
so
stop.
then if I pull him down, I don't get to attack him, I guess, eh?
Right.
I
Yeah,
don't
you have to go
need to
that way.
attack him.
Unless you want your movement to put you on the ground.
Okay, yeah, that's what I would like, yeah.
Wants to pull the Magna Guard, go for wounding, probably go for wounding the support instead of attempting to wound Dooku, but has to pull him so that he doesn't bump into Dooku's base, so can't get him onto the other gantry, but that movement from before could stay the same level or go lower, so she's just gonna have the movement go to the ground instead so that they're on the same elevation, and so that he gets his extra melee die, staying in Dark Rage, I think, for 8 dice.
4. Wow, I got 4, which is crit, and 2 automatic damage. And what are you blocking? 4, oh, 2, so 3 will go through. Oh, she will go through.
So 3, so 5 from the tree, 2 from expertise, so
3 will go through. So how much health do you have?
7 damage.
6 health.
Did you do the automatic 2 damage? No, you haven't done that yet. So
Will be going through.
Let's do 5 damage plus a 2, so 7 damage and a strain.
So we're gonna be getting the wound and doing the strain there. So that'll set off Talzin, but not Dooku because it's the support.
Yeah, set off Mother Talzin, yeah. She gonna get Bo-Katan out of there?
Well, I have to attack the person that did the
Oh,
wound.
good, okay.
So I will have to attack
Maul.
Maul. If I can get in range of him.
He's only got a range 4 attack, so having to see if I can actually get in range of Maul for that attack while still staying on the objective, which I think is doable.
Dash and 5 dice attack. So I'll move there, so I'm still in range of that. And then do the range attack.
I get to roll 5 dice.
Me too.
So
That doesn't sound good.
today. 3 misses.
Yeah, my dice in the first game were really bad, and then my dice in the second game were really good. Ooh, all expertise.
Yeah,
4 expertise, 2 crits, and 2 hits.
I just blocked 2.
You block 2, so I get the 2 crits. So that will do. Let's do 4 damage, expose, and a shove.
2 successes for 4 damage, expose, and shove. Let's shove him a little bit back, just away from the objective, middle objective.
You're probably not coming forward.
No, I will follow up on that.
Okay, so... Oh, guess what we did
Getting a
not
little
do?
damage, more damage on him. He's taken 3, so he'll be at 7 damage already.
I hope that wouldn't have affected
No,
anything.
probably not. Because I couldn't get... I thought about bringing him up
Right,
there, but...
rolled for priority, which was the back one.
I just get 1 point.
So, just getting the 1
Yeah, I did.
point on that.
Alright,
Momentum for the wound, though.
let's roll for priority.
Yeah, I know.
And it's a block again. That's lucky for me. Oh yeah.
So we're going to have to look at potentially going for that back point being the only objective that I don't control. Django is a good option for that, though. Django's in the deck, as well as Shatterpoint and Savage. So Savage is the only... Right, so I picked Savage. Again, going to reserve. So that's 3 reserves on this go through. But getting Django as I had hoped. So I'm going to try to figure out how I can do my move in order to get up to the objective, but also be able to pull Bo-Katan down. So focus for a jump first. And then probably test to see if I'm within 3 with a pull. Yeah. So get her off that objective. Then it'll be a question of if I can get Django in range at that elevation for the get that back objective.
And I still have my hunker though?
Yes. But, yeah, I guess you get covered.
Because you're still, and you're shooting me, right? You're not doing it, yeah?
And yeah, you're close enough.
Oh, yeah.
This is at the same elevation, and you're within an inch, so...
Okay, yeah.
You get
Cover
another
two,
one
so I
from
get
that.
another one, yeah.
So getting the cover from that building that Django is on. 7 dice attack, ranged attack. But she'll be getting 6 on defense.
Ooh. I blocked 2. So I got
So I get my 4 crits.
4 getting through. 4 crits, it sounded like. 2 from the expertise, but 2 natural. So I'll get the jump. So getting up for that back point. I got the wound. Don't need to spend the force on jetpack. And getting 4 on that turn.
4 points with my crazies. My crazies were going to go after Dooku, but I think Django...
Plan Kreese,
Does Dooku have more health than Django?
which Shelly has called the Crazies, which I kind of hope will catch on.
I'm gonna have to start using your nicknames for people, calling Savage Asajj.
Oh yes,
Right.
Crazies, and these guys my super.
She was calling Savage Asajj at some point there too.
That's what I call them, yeah. Because I say, oh, well, my command, yeah, well, guess what? These are Mandalorians and these are commands. Yeah, command. So it is. I thought it was here. Where did I get? I'll re-roll because I usually I put it down right there and I could mock up there.
Lucky. Again, the priority is the block.
No. So we are going to go up and get Django. So I will.
So with the Crazies, she can simply move them both up to that close point and outnumber Django. Would she have enough movement to do that on for Dooku instead? Let's see. Yeah, looks like we're just setting up to do the back point, but they might have been able to, especially with that ingress point there. But setting up to get their focus and ranged attack, so the sharpshooter there. So 8 dice. They do have good access to shove, so they could potentially shove Django off of the gantry as well.
So 5 hits. So 1 hit will go through, which is 1 damage and a shove. I can shove you, yep. I'll shove you back. Or hey, you're here, like that person, right? Shove you right off.
The thing is, I think I land on this guy, which
Okay,
I can't really.
so then I'll just push you back.
First, yeah.
Shove around the terrain on that. Second one should be able to get a shove as well.
Well, let's do 1 and 8 disarm. And then I am going to do a force, and I'm going to jump. And you're both just going to jump up to here.
That was supposed to be a pin. I think it was one getting through again. She'll get that objective, 4 points, momentum for not crossing 0. And then it'll either be Savage or the Shatterpoint. So, Shatterpoint.
Oh, I did not. Oh, yeah, I get a limit. Oh, yes. Okay. So what did you roll? Because if you roll, you know, so you get 2, 3. So if you get these guys off, you get 4.
So, in order to win on this turn, I'd need 4 points and a momentum. So that's probably not going to happen. Although, I think Django was my best bet for that. Potentially getting the 4 points. He doesn't have great shove access. So he could pull one off, but then he'd have to try to wound Planet Grease. But I think it's the Shatterpoint that's actually next. So could think about Dooku instead, moving Django and then himself, and shoving one of them off for the 4. Also looking at, just going with Savage and seeing if he can get the wound on Maul or the momentum, and just sit with my three objectives, and yeah, hopefully set up for the next turn. So he was wounded, remove all his damage, and of the conditions, because he's injured now, his Furious Rush can be a advance instead of a dash. But I think that was just his normal move action. Right, cost 2, but an advance instead of a dash. He's not engaged with anyone. Start moving him over to that other side. And then see if he can get the wound on his brother. Has, I think, 4 damage left, so should be able to. Oh, and it's a primary, so he gets 2 extra dice for 9. Getting the full tree, so go down the top path to do 5 damage, and then expose, strain, and disarm. Right, from 1 from expertise as well, so 6.
And a design. So even if I wanted to, so when this unit is wounded, I could dash and make a thing, but if I do that,
Right
and
there.
I take 3 extra damage.
Momentum.
Okay. Oh, but it's okay because I'm already damaged, right?
So I'll take the momentum for the wound.
Yeah. Okay.
All gets a revenge attack
And I get to
because
add
it was
that.
melee.
I
So
will.
it's a dash and a 5 dice melee attack. But he will get to add
So I can actually dash.
his, what's it, 3 for being yeah, 3,
Well, so the attack has
4, because I think I put 12 or more damage on him.
Oh.
So if I move closer to the ladder.
Yeah, so Magna Guards are.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Right now,
if you're engaged with them, yeah, you don't have to.
Thinking about where to dash, but if he becomes engaged with the Magna Guard, he won't be able to attack Savage.
Yeah, so I actually might want to do something. So I'm actually going to go closer to this ladder over here.
Okay.
I'm going to go like that. I'm still within range 2 of you, though.
Yeah.
I will do my 5 dice attack. So when I've got strain,
so you take an extra 3 damage from dashing there.
Okay, and then
Alright, so he sets off the strain from the dash, getting 3 more damage, so that's going to be 5 more dice on this attack for 10. But he is disarmed. Savage is also exposed? Maybe? Yes, I think so.
I got 2 blocks.
Which is with a 4 damage.
4 damage.
So getting 4 damage through. But 1 less because of protection. So even though I was going to get the revenge attack, I wasn't super worried about him being wounded in return, because being disarmed, he can only get well, he can get 10 damage, but with protection he would go down to 9 anyway. So that was Savage's turn, so that was 3 points. So Shelly luckily getting priority objective on the one she has.
I kind of gave her a jump. Oh, she can jump up to here, right? That's right. I'll give. You can jump. Yeah. I'll give Bo-Katan the.
So Bo-Katan. Is this a Shatterpoint? No, she used her Shatterpoint.
And then, okay.
Oh, maybe this will be Gar Saxon giving her a jump. So getting 3 bodies on that point.
So how much health does Savage have?
He's got 7 and protection, so you'd have to do 8 damage to him.
These guys are hurting.
Yeah, Mega Bears are wounded. B2s have 8 plus protection, so you have to do 9 damage on them.
What has she got?
She's got 10 health and a hunker. Although you ignore hunkers. You ignore cover, I guess.
Yeah, ignores
So
cover.
looking at Gar Saxon's targets for trying to get a wound. But the options aren't great because B2s and Savage both have protection. Savage has 7 health left. B2s have their full 8. Talzin has 10 health. But, well, she would get 2 extra dice on top of her 7 at range, but won't benefit from cover because of Gar Saxon's got you in my sights ability. So, looking at the attack on Talzin. Right, looking at Django instead. Doesn't have protection. I think I said he has 7 health left. So definitely an easier target there. Will set off my innate revenge attacks if she does wound him though.
Within 2 of another.
Yeah. So, I could just move closer to them.
Yeah. As long as you're still in range with them.
Yeah, because that's range 5, right? Yeah. If I just kind of like move to like here.
To get his focus, that he gets Sharpshooter 2, so adding 3 dice to the attack for 9.
Just 2 blocks.
I've got 4 expertise. 4 expertise on a gun is crit. Okay, so what are you blocking?
2.
A lot of expertise being rolled on these attacks.
Okay, so I will do 6 damage. 6 damage and a pin, and a shove, and a jump.
4 steps through, taking the top track for 6 damage. Jump, shove, and pin.
Yeah, I think you can shove me down to here.
Down to there, okay. And then I will advance up. And then I get a free jump out of that.
So
Remember what you said
could be trying to more so to contest the objectives, even though she can't flip them currently, just to help get someone up there to tie it, so that maybe in the future it could be flipped. But yeah, that's for suggesting the jumping down to the ingress point to pop up there and tie that middle objective. Two for the priority objective. Didn't quite get the wound on that one.
Okay, so this is your game now. Alright, let's see where the priority token goes. It's a lot.
So you get 3 points.
So I got 3 points, but I suppose I should see if I can get another wound.
I can't believe that. That game was over in like
3.
7 turns.
Getting the Shatterpoint now. I have 3 objectives in my control, but given the side objective, seeing if I'll get another wound in this activation. Okay. I think I end up going with Count Dooku. He can give a dash to, give a dash to himself and Django, which will keep that point tied. And then he's moving up to attack Clan Kreese. See if he can do 7 damage. And there, they will, however, have protection from Bo-Katan's bubble being testing the objective. So, 2 Makashi, 7 dice, or I think I focus maybe. Yeah. 8. So yeah, only getting 3 damage and a shove, but she's got steadfast, so going the reposition route instead. So only 2 damage at the reposition, but that'll be the end of the game. And yeah, only went through 1 deck there. So yeah, full deck from both sides was all. But the control that Talzin and Dooku have, especially with being able to just move Dooku onto that center point, knowing that the struggle was going to be flipping over and there was a good chance of that one being active, was definitely put me in a good position for struggle 2 there. Of course, I had the 2 back points, having gotten the 5 objectives for struggle 1, and then also the middle one. There really wasn't a great choice for Shelly going into struggle 2. She basically had to choose the one where she had control of that point, but Talzin and Dooku, like I said, were on the other two. So, and the Magna Guard that shouldn't have been there, but was unfortunately due to that little error there for that all that movement. But I do think that maybe Shelly could have tried to see how much movement she could get out of some of her characters, rather than in order to see if they could at least get up and be contesting either the middle or back point. You know, when the Mandalorians Shatterpointed, I think they could have gone, or one of them could have gone for the back point Mother Talzin was on, maybe get a shove. I mean, it would be a conservative play to stay on those objectives that she was attempting to get, the middle and back, but Talzin having gone already, and I don't think anyone was really left on that side of the board. Well, Savage hadn't gone yet. Kind of opted for the conservative play and then wounding Savage, which I kind of baited her into, given that it seemed like she was going to do those two attacks into him. That was pretty nasty on that struggle one play, and having them wounded. So then, yeah, she didn't have her back. She didn't have both of her back points to choose from for that. Struggle changeover. So I think I definitely encourage people to to really test how much movement you can get out of your units, because I think there were times for sure where she assumed that she wouldn't be able to get to a point, so then she just kind of looked for a wound. But especially against a list like Talzin and Dooku, going for a wound unnecessarily is can potentially bite you. So anyway, hopefully you enjoyed this video, and we've already had our May tournament, so look out for more battle reports that'll be coming from that tournament.